The Selknam were one of the indigenous peoples of the southernmost region of South America, especially on the Isla Grande de Tierra del Fuego, in the current territory of Chile and Argentina. The Selknam's life was harsh, and they were adapted to a difficult and inhospitable environment. They were hunter-gatherers and had a social and spiritual structure with rituals and myths that explained the world around them. Unfortunately, due to the genocide and forced assimilation that the Selknam suffered at the hands of European and Creole colonizers, much of their culture and traditions have been lost or are incompletely known. In the beginning of time, the earth was flat and empty. There was no sun, moon, stars, or living things. The world was in complete darkness. There were powerful beings known as spirits or giants. Among the powerful beings that pre-existed in this nothingness, there was Tamalkal, the creator spirit and chief deity, and next to him, Kenos. Tamalkal, along with other spirit beings, began to shape the world. They created the geographical features of the earth, such as mountains and rivers. Some of these beings also became the first life forms, such as animals and plants. The first human beings emerged from this creative act. Fashioned from clay or carved from wood, they were endowed with life and breath by these powerful spirits. They gave them not only existence, but also the essential knowledge, hunting, fire, and all the skills necessary for survival. With life came also the rules for living it. Tamalkal, along with the other spirits, imparted the laws and rules, ensuring that humans understood the importance of harmony with nature and with each other. Each animal imparted its gifts to humanity, and so each species has its place and purpose, teaching the Selknam to live in accordance with the natural order. Myth served to explain the origin of the world as well as to transmit values, social norms, and knowledge about the natural environment. Some of these primordial beings eventually became constellations and other celestial entities, such as the sun and moon, which would play important roles in the daily life of the Selknam, marking the seasons and guiding their rituals. In Selknam and Haush mythology, the cosmos is divided into 4 Shoan, or heavens of infinity, which represent the 4 cardinal directions. Kamuk, the northern sky. Kekruk, the heaven of the south. Kenenik, the heaven of the west. And Wintek, heaven of the east. Each of the Shoan was associated with one of the seasons of the year. The Kamuk symbolized spring and summer, the Kekruk symbolized winter, the Kenenik symbolized autumn, and finally the Wintek symbolized all the seasons and possibly even the weather. Wintek is considered the most important of the 4 Shoan, as it is the dwelling place of Tamalkal and the origin of all that exists. Number 1. Tamalkal. Tamalkal is the supreme being in Selknam mythology, considered the creator of the world and its inhabitants, and played a crucial role in the Selknam worldview. He was a powerful and distant deity. He was not attributed human forms and was not represented by images. His presence was ethereal and omnipresent, a creator god who existed before all things and who established the order of the world. According to Selknam mythology, Tamalkal created the sky and the earth, as well as the first beings that inhabited them. From his own voice and breath, he gave life to the first entities, including the first humans and animals. Although he was the supreme deity, he did not intervene directly in human affairs. The Selknam did not worship him directly in their daily lives. Rather, his influence was felt in the traditions, rules, and respect for the natural and social order he had established. Before I continue, if you want me to continue uploading videos of lesser-known creatures and mythologies like this one, it is very important that you comment. If you support this video and it reaches 500 comments, I promise to bring more mythologies and cultures of South America. Number 2. Kenos. The Kenos story is central to the creation. Kenos is a creative being who, according to the myths, brought the world into its present form, though not intentionally or in a controlled manner. He is a powerful but erratic entity, whose actions and teachings often have unforeseen results or cause disorder. Kenos is known to have taught the Selknam many essential survival skills, such as hunting and the use of fire. He is also portrayed as a mischievous or naive character, whose actions can have problematic consequences. In some accounts, it is Kenos who introduces evil or death into the world, sometimes by accident or by being tricked by other beings. Kenos had a role not only in the creation stories and the order of the world, but also in the social structure and in the performance of rituals, such as the Hine, albeit indirectly. About this ritual and what they did in it, I will tell you more later. Number 3. Cree. The moon, known as Cree, was considered a female entity associated with femininity and fertility. Some stories show the moon as an old woman, and in others, as a young girl. This may reflect the changing phases of the moon and its influence on the lives of Selknam women. They believed that the moon had a significant role in the reproductive cycle and could influence the birth of children. There were rites and taboos associated with the new and full moon, and Selknam women took special care during certain lunar phases, such as avoiding certain activities during the new moon so as not to affect their fertility or that of the land. Number 4. Kurin. The sun, on the other hand, was perceived as masculine and was called Kurin, associated with hunting and the provision of warmth and light. The sun was vital for survival, as it enabled life to exist and guided the cycle of the seasons, which in turn influenced the migration patterns of the guanaco, a main source of food for the Selknam. One version tells how the sun, after being created or discovered, was pursued by its sister the moon, until they were both thrown into the sky, where they continue their pursuit eternally, explaining day and night. In other versions, it is described how the sun and the moon, in their origins, interacted with humans and other spiritual beings, teaching skills or imposing punishments and rewards according to the actions of mortals. A transgression against the rules could be punished by the sun with drought or disease. The sun and moon were also related to the Selknam calendar and ritual practices. They marked the passage of time, not only through the day and night, but also through the seasons, which was crucial for planning migrations and hunts. Eclipses and other events were of great importance and could be interpreted as omens or messages from the gods. Number 5. Howen. The Howen were the primordial beings who, according to Selknam beliefs, shaped the world and laid the foundations of existence. The word Howen can be translated as ancestors or old ones, and these beings were responsible for many aspects of life on Earth before they transformed themselves into elements of nature or natural phenomena. The age of the Howen is the mythological period of the creation and shaping of the world, beginning with the arrival of Kenos, the being who brought order and knowledge essential to life. During this era, the Howen populated the earth and became the forces of nature, such as the sun, the sea, the wind, and other natural elements. Number 6. Quan Yip and Chanuk. Quan Yip is known as the evil spirit or devil in Selknam mythology. He would be like the adversary of the creator beings, such as Kenos or Temaukal. Quan Yip is a trickster, a being who brings discord and misfortune to humanity. He is the representation of evil. Chanuk, on the other hand, is the first man or one of the ancestors of the Selknam. Some versions tell that Chanuk is created by a superior being and put on earth to populate it. Through Chanuk and his descendants, the Selknam trace their lineage and explain the origin of humanity. Number 7. The Domination of Women. In mythical times, Selknam women were said to have control over men. They were the owners of exons, spirits, or powerful beings that gave them great authority and knowledge. These exons were embodied in masks and costumes and were at the center of the rituals the women used to exercise their power and keep the men deceived and submissive. The women used their control over the exons to instill fear and respect in the men, making them believe that these beings possessed supernatural powers and that disobeying the women could bring terrible consequences. One day, a man overheard some women talking about it, realized the truth behind the exons, and led the men in a rebellion against this matriarchal order. The myth tells how the men devised a plan to unmask the woman's deception and claim the sans for their own. The men succeeded in overcoming the women and taking possession of the disguises and masks, and thus the spiritual and social power they represented. This act symbolized the transfer of power and knowledge from women to men. establishing the new patriarchal order. Number 8. Hine. The Hine was a central ritual in the life of the Selknam people. This ritual was a male initiation ceremony that marked the transition of young men into adulthood. Adolescents were introduced to the secrets of the men's society. During the ceremony, previously hidden knowledge, such as hunting techniques and ancestral wisdom, was revealed to them. The development of the Hine followed several stages. The young men to be initiated were selected. The tribesmen began to build the big hut, Kashkaval, in a secret place. The men also made masks and costumes representing the various spirits. The young men were separated from the community and began a period of teaching and testing, where the elders passed on essential knowledge for their future life. The tribesmen would disguise themselves as Exons, and during the night would enter the hut to attack the youths, reenacting the mythical struggle of ancient times. Eventually, the truth was revealed to the young men, that the Exons were not gods or spirits, but the tribesmen themselves in disguise. This taught the young men the importance of keeping male secrets and prepared them for their dominant role in society. After the ceremony, the young men were reintegrated into the tribe as adult men, ready to marry, hunt, and participate fully in Selknam's social life. Number 9. Zalpen. Zalpen is a crucial female deity in Selknam mythology, associated with the underworld, death, and regeneration. Zalpen resides in the underworld and is important in the male initiation rite known as the Hine. Zalpen communicates with the upper world through a hole. She is a dual goddess, associated with both creative and destructive aspects. She is both revered and feared. During the Hine, Zalpen is invoked, and her associated spirits, the Shorts, play a central role in the challenges the youth must face. The appearance of Zalpen and her Shorts is one of the highlights of the Hine and serves to teach the youth about the spiritual forces that are part of their world and worldview. With the arrival of the colonizers and the imposition of new religions and belief systems, many of the traditional Selknam practices were suppressed or lost. Remember our goal of 500 comments. If we reach it, I will bring lesser-known mythologies of South America.